everyone, this is Evilicious with a video concerning something that I will be covering sooner or later, and I better talk about it now considering it's pretty recent. The whole issue with multi-degree commentaries. Now, you know my stance on the commentary community in general, how I think it's an excuse to start internet drama and an attempt to make a name for yourself, how I find it an excuse to make yourself look like the stronger individual compared to the one you consider not as strong, how I find it to be filled with the most hypocritical people in existence. And its biggest problem is people being there not because they want to be there, but because they just want to follow a trend. As I said, I can list a bunch of people who I consider to be trend followers. Hidden Chambers, DJSJ, Unsealed Cross, Precisely Rarity, Death Critic, Morgan Headline, as Dave the Demon Hog, the list goes on. However, if there's one thing that seems to be going on lately, and it seems that everyone in the commentary community seems to be throwing a rage fit about, it's a recent multi-degree commentary ordeal. Supposedly, a new video made by Morgan Headline has turned what was once a 9th degree commentary into a 10th degree, which is one of the reasons I consider a trend follower. Death I can also consider, but I believe there's more reasons to why he's a trend follower and not just because of a 9th degree video. However, when it comes to overlapping commentaries, this is all I see. One person makes a commentator sees it and thinks they made a terrible video and proceeds to showing how much of a better commentator they are than the other person. You know where this is going. An overflowing ego. Yes, it circles back to this. I know plenty of people with this massive ego that when it comes to a multi-degree commentary, they can't help themselves but to place everyone below them and put them on top. People such as Morgan, the headlinist, are guilty of this. They do this. I can list off other people too. Death Critic, ZM Anonymous, all those who participated in the 10th degree commentary have that ego. However, there's a problem with it too. Not just egos, but a large paradox. You see a pattern here with my videos on the commentary community. Every day the commentary community makes a large contradiction that is not consistent to the community and their preachings. They tell other people to stay consistent to their preachings, yet that's constantly what they're not doing. I like to mention Death Critic. You claim that multi-degree commentaries are a waste, that they are pointless. This is coming from the guy who made a 9th degree commentary. You're up high on that degree list, and you know something, you're not that far from Morgan, who you criticize for making a 10th degree commentary. So it's perfectly fine for you to drag out your ego into multi-degree commentaries, but making a 10th degree commentary is off the charts. That's a bad thing to do. I'm sorry. That makes you come off as a complete hypocrite, sir. Honestly, I don't understand why people even look up to you when you make these obvious faults. I could say those people are just as blind as you are, but let's not get ahead of myself. As for Morgan's 10th degree one-shot, all I can say is it's not only an insertion of her ego, but it's entirely pointless. I don't get why this kind of trend even became popular. It's just a waste of time. Why bother making a video with only one point to bring up when you could easily write that point down on a person's video comments? A majority of one-shots can be summed up with a simple text comment, less than 500 characters, and for the ones that drag on for 10 minutes are not enjoyable to watch. It's just a man dragging out a point, repeating it over and over to the point of irritation. And yet, these are the people who criticize Shinana for dragging out her points. This community really frustrates me to know how idiotic the people are. For a community filled with people who can supposedly overcome every single argument with something witty, I don't see a lot of intelligence coming from it. The sad thing is, people try to get me to see the light of the commentary community. However, I constantly see people such as Death Critic, Morgan, Precisely Rarity, ZM Anonymous, Hidden Chambers, Unsealed Cross, DJSJ, and all the others I mentioned, just showing me the darkness within it. As soon as someone tries to convince me, there's about 10 people to unconvince me. There's only one question a lot of you are asking me right now. How do we stop this then? You keep ranting about how terrible we are, saying we're the worst community. How can we change all of this? I can think of difficult alternatives and a very simple alternative. And the difficult one, I can basically say, is to pick a consistent rule to go by and stick with it. However, I can see that unlikely due to people trying that before. However, whenever someone makes a rule for a commentary community to go by, there's a handful of people to complain about it, such as the Nation of Johnny K, Youngblood Fantasy, M Skull, Stone of Philosophy, Realm Wars, and all those who are claimed to be the mainstream amongst your group. So the trouble isn't just to looking like hypocrites, but it's also people unwilling to get along in the community, and that's definitely not a way to make yourself look like a strong community, and that's what makes that choice impossible. Another alternative is to get people to the right direction. However, there's also an issue with that as well, considering that most people claim that commentaries are for entertainment, and for some odd reason, slander and ego raising automatically equals entertainment. Or just hearing yourself talk. There's a lot of people who I can say just sit there to hear themselves talk. Hidden Chambers is a perfect example. All of her rant videos I can never keep track of because all she does is incoherently ramble that goes on absolutely nowhere. It goes nowhere. It makes no sense half the time due to no real logic being stated. Everything I said about her Dear Professor video and my comment responses to her still stand. And it just shows that she doesn't care about coming off as intelligent. She doesn't care to coming off as reasonable. She doesn't care to bring any real intelligence to the table or actually come up with a logical argument to defend herself with or to go after a person with. She just sits there to hear herself talk. That's all I see from it. She doesn't care if people understand her. She doesn't care for people to keep track of where she's going. She just sits there expecting people to hear her pretty voice and fap to it. And honestly, that is why I do not like her videos. That is why I do not like her rant videos. That's why I think she's just a trend follower. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She has no facts. She doesn't look anything up. She's just there talking her mouth off, acting as if she knows absolutely everything when in actuality she doesn't. She's just as blind as the people who she claims to also be blind. So, now you're wondering what the simple alternative is. What's the simple solution to this problem? And that solution is possibly as simple as this. It can be narrowed down to just saying this. Stop making commentaries. It's very simple. Nobody's forcing you to make commentaries on people, and if the commentaries stop, then less drama will ensue. Just kill the community right here and now before it gets carried away. I've already seen a drama with Joshua and Ariana and a drama with Fluke Dog, and I'd hate to see some kind of civil war happen. So, in the end, the only easy and simple solution is to stop making commentaries. I can especially give this advice to all the people who I mentioned near the beginning of this video, especially considering they're most likely not even motivated to be in the community. They just did it because they thought it was the cool thing to do, and they just want to be like everyone else. Honestly, that's the only way this will stop, is if you stop making commentaries. I cannot stress this option enough. Stop making commentaries. That's all I have to discuss. This is Euvalicious. Thank you for your time.